President Donald Trump on Friday demanded Apple make its iPhones in the United States or face a 25% tariff. I have long ago informed Tim Cook of Apple that I expect their iPhones that will be sold in the United States of America will be manufactured and built in the United States, not India or any place else, Trump posted Friday morning on Truth Social. If that is not the case, a tariff of at least 25% must be paid by Apple to the U.S. Trump last week during his Middle East trip said he was displeased with Cook, Apple's CEO, over the company's plan to manufacture iPhones set to be sold in the United States at newly built plants in India. Over the past several years, Apple had been working to diversify its production capabilities. Some iPhone production had already moved to India, and Cook on Apple's earnings call with investors earlier this month said he expected the majority of iPhones sold in the US will have India as their country of origin. On that call, Cook said he expected Apple would face a tariff burden of up to $900 million this quarter. However, it could have been significantly worse. Apple and other U.S. tech companies scored a big win last month when Trump exempted electronics from his massive tariffs on China. Despite lowering his tariff to at least 30% on most Chinese goods, down from 145% earlier this month, a 10% universal tariff remains on the majority of goods entering the United States. Roughly 90% of Apple's iPhone production and assembly is based in China, according to Wedbush Securities estimates. Trump met with Cook in Riyadh at the beginning of the president's Middle East trip last week. In Qatar, he called out Cook for his plan to build US-bound iPhones in India. "I had a little problem with Tim Cook," Trump said last week in Qatar. "I said to him, Tim, you're my friend. I treated you very good. You're coming in with $500 billion. But now I hear you're building all over India. I don't want you building in India." Cook met with Trump once again at the White House on Tuesday, an administration official told CNN. The official did not divulge the subject matter of the meeting. Apple did not immediately respond to a request for comment. "Those jobs aren't coming back. The world's most valuable publicly traded company is flush with cash and rakes in tremendous profit, more than any company in history. But Apple has long contended that it cannot manufacture iPhones in America. Apple has invested billions of dollars training millions of skilled engineers abroad. China and India, with their massive populations, simply have more skilled engineers than the United States does, and it costs Apple significantly less to pay those workers." Steve Jobs, Apple's late CEO, famously brought up the issue during an October 2010 meeting with former President Barack Obama. He called America's lackluster education system an obstacle for Apple, which needed 30,000 industrial engineers to support its on-site factory workers. "You can't find that many in America to hire," Jobs told Obama, according to his biographer Walter Isaacson. "If you could educate these engineers, we could move more manufacturing plants here." In a 2012 interview with tech journalists Kara Swisher and Walt Mossberg, Apple CEO Tim Cook said he agreed with Jobs' assessment. When asked if the day would ever come when an Apple product is made in the United States, he said, "I want there to be, and you can bet that we'll use the whole of our influence on this." The notion Apple can reshore iPhone production is a fictional tale. Dan Ives, global head of technology research at financial services firm Wedbush Securities, told CNN's Aaron Burnett last month. US-made iPhones could cost more than 3 times their current price of around $1,000, he said, because it would be necessary to replicate the highly complex production ecosystem that currently exists in Asia. You build that supply chain in the US with a fab in West Virginia and New Jersey, there'll be $3,500 iPhones, he said, referring to fabrication plants or high-tech manufacturing facilities where computer chips that power electronic devices are normally made. And even then, it would cost Apple about $30 billion in 3 years to move just 10% of its supply chain to the US to begin with, Ives told Burnett. Like and subscribe for more.